Welcome to the Help Her Be Brave podcast show, where we have great ideas on how you can help save lives. I'm Amy Ford.
And I'm Jessica Russo.
And today we're going to be talking to someone named Emily, who is so amazing. She's with Let Them Live. And one of our mutual friends told us about her and their organization. And I know, Jessica, with me and you serving in Embrace Grace, finances are a huge part of Embrace Grace mom struggles, or maybe the reason why they're thinking about maybe still having an abortion, or maybe it could be the root is finances. It could be the root of, childcare. It could be a car. They don't have transportation.
How am I going to provide? How is this going to work out?
Yes. Right. And so not having the resources that they need, and childcare is so expensive, especially if you already have one and then you add like another one to it.
It's crazy expensive.
It's so hard to have a job that actually pays you more than what you pay out in childcare. So organizations like Let Them Live is so important. I can't wait for you to meet Emily. So we're going to bring her on now. Emily, are you there?
Hey, thank you.
Okay, well, I've heard such great things about you and your organization, and I'd love for you to just start with your why. Like, why are you passionate about life?
Yeah, it's so funny because I get asked that question a lot, and I never really have like a concrete answer in the sense that my journey to like being a pro-life person kind of happened. I grew up being like in a pro-life family, but I never really knew what that meant. And then when I was in college, I feel like I literally woke up one day and was like, I have to do something. I think it must have been a realization that, abortion is literally the greatest problem, in my opinion, that we're facing today. And so I think, one day when I was in college, I literally just woke up and I was like, I have to do something, like anything. It's not enough to just say you're pro-life or to just hold pro-life beliefs. Like, time is now to do something. And I think that's really what motivated me into it. And now more than ever with Let Them Live, in my experience, you can't hold a baby that was born that was this close, just inches away from being aborted and not dedicate your life to the cause in one way or another. So holding babies that would have been aborted otherwise, and meeting moms and just connecting with people with like through Let Them Live, that is really my motivation. So it started out kind of with a passion to just end this great tragedy that has hit our world, and now it's become a little bit more personal.
Wow. I know it's so true. Like what you just said about holding a baby, that maybe you had some part of inspiring a life decision. That really is like the ultimate, like fire, like the passion that burns. I'm sure you feel the same way, Jessica.
Yes.
I mean, it's
holding that
amazing.
baby and being able to look a woman in the eye and know that the hard work equaled both of their lives being saved.
Yeah. Especially when the alternative is such a horrible path. I mean, women that have abortions, they have mental, physical, emotional problems long after the abortion. And so seeing women that have, we've been able to assist down a different path, it really just hits home knowing that they completely avoided a really tragic situation.
That's so true. That is, and even later down the road when it's their first birthday, second birthday, fifth birthday, I mean, it's just always something that's so tender to your heart, that's like, oh my goodness, like I can't imagine your life not here. And we have one girl that works for us, and we've had her on the show before, and her name's Maddie, and she had an abortion scheduled, and we got a love box to her. And it was scheduled, her abortion was scheduled for the next day. And so it was something where so many people were praying, and her sister, who had already gone through Embrace Grace, really jumped in and helped. But so she ended up choosing life, going through Embrace Grace, and then she started volunteering up here. And then she just, every time she'd volunteer, she'd be telling the fellow volunteers her story, and she was so good at storytelling, like her telling her own story. We're like, do you want a job? And so now she's been working here, but her little boy now is, I think, 4 or 5, Mateo. 4. And he's like, even though I know there's so many more babies, but like just to be able to see him on a consistent basis of like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, every milestone. Like he started like Pee-wee football,
Yes,
and we were all like
cheering him on. I mean, it's just so awesome. I know that feeling. Well, tell us a little bit about Let Them Live. What do you guys do at your organization?
Yeah, so to kind of give you the elevator pitch, I guess, that I typically do, this perfectly sums up what Let Them Live does. But when Nathan and I first got started with Let Them Live and we started it out, we found that 73% of women are having abortions because of financial burden. And that was like a huge, like flashing red signal to us that why do we live in, at the time it was like 2018. Why is it 2018 and that many women are having abortions because they can't pay their rent? Like, how has this not been solved? And that is really when the birth of Let Them Live began, when we were like, you know what? We can solve that. That's easy. If a woman is walking into an abortion clinic and that she wouldn't be walking in there if she was able to pay her rent and, feed her other kids, we would just jump all over that and help her in any way that we could. So we knew that Let Them Live was just hugely necessary for this movement, and it was something that had been lacking. And so, yeah, we provide major financial support to women that are facing an abortion decision, and we help them choose life instead. And I mean, we've had situations, probably almost every possible scenario that you can imagine, from women that have been referred to us by sidewalk counselors to women that actually reached out to us themselves at the abortion clinic, to women that, we've met in person. I mean, we have so many different women, and all of them are getting counseling support from us and financial support, and just helping them get back on their feet. I mean, our moms come to us, and really we just want them to be better off than when they first came to us. So we work with them throughout their pregnancy, develop a financial plan with them, get them back on their feet, help them with their resumes and get them into better jobs. We also have a volunteer who works with them with Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University, and she does like one-on-one counseling with our moms so that they can learn about budgeting and saving and all those different financial tips and tricks. And really, we're just trying to provide a comprehensive financial program for our moms. And, on top of that, obviously, there's a lot of emotional counseling as well. And we partner with pregnancy resource centers to make sure that these moms are taken care of fully.
That is so amazing. I can only imagine that every single mom that you guys are mentoring or helping, I'm sure that every situation is so complex and unique. There's probably not like a cookie cutter way that you guys are helping these moms and just different circumstances. But it is so true. Even in Embrace Grace, I would definitely say that finances are like the biggest fear that they have as they have their baby, of like they're not really sure how they're going to afford childcare or what it's going to look like on the other side of this, especially if they don't have any family support.
Yes.
Right. And the family support, I mean, that is, I mean, to just accompany, already, big financial burdens, the majority of our mom, I would definitely say over 90% of our moms have either no family around them, or the family relationships they have are not good, or the father of their baby abandoned them. So that's like something that is alongside of that. There's no support. I mean, some families, if you find yourself in a situation, you're able to turn to your parents and they might take you in, but we have situations where moms are getting kicked out and their families are just turning their backs on them. And it's just really sad. And it's a pattern. I mean, we see it all the time with a lot of different moms, and so Let Them Live, along with pregnancy centers and a lot of other pro-life organizations, kind of come alongside and act as a family member, basically, and as a friend, as a sister, to these women and to these moms, so that they know that they're not alone and they can get through this temporary circumstance. And that's what we try to have them realize, is that the situation they're in is very temporary. These are temporary circumstances. But abortion is it's final,
Yeah.
That's a permanent decision. And so we want to help them get through that temporary, trouble spot and help them, get on a better path.
I love that while y'all have this amazing resource and you're helping moms choose life and be brave and meet a very real physical need, that you're also recognizing that not just one organization has all the answers, that you're partnering with local pregnancy centers, that you're using the Dave Ramsey system.
I'm sure maternity homes.
Yes, it's going to take a village. It's going to take us all to be the answer to meet that need. And that's super valuable. I love that, Emily.
I can't imagine. I mean, for me at least, there's no way Let Them Live could fill every single need in the pro-life movement or for these moms. Even thinking about that gets me stressed out because there's just so much to do and there's so much support and there's room for everybody to bring something to the table. So we're really big on collaboration, working together and not reinventing the wheel, but partnering with people that already kind of have those resources in place and making sure, that a full community can surround these moms. And something that, we recognize too is they're not really our moms. They are just wonderful women that came to us for a resource, and we want to make sure they get the support they need. They are definitely first and foremost in our minds. So I think as the pro-life community continues kind of down the path of having that collaborative mindset and getting these women really the help they need, even if certain organizations aren't able to provide it, we can really be successful and save a lot of lives.
Are you guys in a specific, serve a specific area, or are you guys national?
That's a great question. So we are national, and actually sometimes I like to say international. We've helped a couple of moms in Canada. We haven't quite broken out of the U.S. fully, though, but we are a national organization. A lot of our moms are in California. We have a number of moms in some of the more expensive states, some of the states that are a little bit harder to live in. We are actually, I'm here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's where my husband and I live. So Let Them Live is technically headquartered in Fort Wayne, Indiana. But we have our staff and our employees and volunteers all over the U.S. So we all just work remotely, and we help moms all over the place too.
That is awesome. Well, do you have any stories of moms that have been impacted by your ministry?
Yes. So when you guys were talking about, watching the 4-year-old grow up and those milestones, I immediately went to a mom named Atoria. And at this point, I'm sure a lot of people have heard me talk about Atoria because I talk about her all the time. But Atoria is a very special mom to me. All of our moms are very special to me. But Atoria has been extra special in that she really has let Nathan and I be a part of her life and her son's life. So to kind of go back, Nathan and I have a friend named Teresa, and she used to run for Life San Francisco. And so she invited us out to her
I
conference.
love her, by the way.
She's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Teresa's on our board, and she's awesome. We're very good friends with Teresa. She is amazing. So, yeah, so she invited us out. She said, hey, we're having a conference. So we went out, and I think that this was in 2019. And we had a table there, and we had somebody come up and say, hey, what do you guys do? And we told her about it, and she said, I'm a sidewalk counselor, and I know of this young woman. And so she told us about this girl who had actually, she used to be a stripper, kind of led that fast money lifestyle, but she had left that lifestyle.
There are hundreds of ways to get involved in the pro-life movement. Don't get overwhelmed with all of the options. We've made it easy and simple by creating a tool to help you discover your place in it. Head over to Help Her Be Brave website and take our brand new quiz to find unique ways on how to save lives, customized just for you. Fill out the survey, hit submit, and your results will arrive shortly in your inbox. Visit www.helpherbebrave.com for all the details.
And she became pregnant. So basically, we have the sidewalk counselor telling us, all this stuff. She tells us that this mom is living in her car. At that time, she was probably about 18 weeks, maybe like 17, 18 weeks pregnant. And she was living in this tiny car. She had gotten laid off from her job that she had gotten. And just the father of the baby had told her before they got pregnant that they should get pregnant. They should have a baby. They should start a family together. And she got pregnant, and he freaked out, and he abandoned her, and he left.
Wow.
So he kind of just pieced out, and she's living in her car. Family support is not really there. If there was love and family support, with that, there wasn't financial support. So really just a bad place, battling depression, things like that. And so we had reached out to Atoria, and we hadn't heard back. So we sometimes, we kind of assume the worst if we just don't hear back. I mean, it's hard to kind of hold on to hope sometimes. So we were holding on to hope, but we thought, man, she probably just went through with the abortion. And we actually had heard from her. So she contacted us, and she kind of started telling us about her stories. And Nathan and I got on a phone call with her, and she was just bawling her eyes out. I mean, she was just really, really struggling. Living out in California, I mean, I don't even have to say how bad it is to live in California. Mm-hmm. It costs a lot of money. It's really intense, even for people that make a good amount of money, much less for people that are, living in their car. So we told her that we would make sure she got into an apartment, that, she would have groceries. She hadn't been eating because she couldn't afford it. And she had been getting ultrasounds just at different pregnancy centers all over the state, because she couldn't afford anything else. And she was just trying to make it work until she could basically decide what she was going to do. And, we told her we'd take care of her, and she was so excited and so happy. And we thought that we just, had canceled an abortion. But the next day she texted Nathan and I, and she told us that she just couldn't do it. She was sorry, but she just couldn't make this work, and that she was going to go through with her abortion, which at that point would have been in 2 days. And it would have been a 2-day abortion, because at this point she was 20 weeks pregnant.
Oh, man.
And,
wow.
20 weeks, you're pretty far along. So she texted us that, and Nathan and I pretty much went into panic mode, because we just couldn't let her think that, she had to go through with this. So we ran a fundraiser for her, and we told her, we're like, hey, we're going to fly to you. We're coming, just so you know. FYI, we are on our way.
Wow.
And we literally hopped on the next flight out from Indiana, and we went to California, and we were like, we're here. And she couldn't even believe it that these two strangers came to her, basically. And thanks to our donors, we were able to do that. And, we got her into, a hotel. We were there for about a week. That way she wasn't in her car. And we, apartment searched and job searched, and gave her a minute just to relax in a bed, and she was having really bad back problems because, she was living in her car. And so we got her prenatal massage and all that good stuff. And she canceled her abortion. And ultimately it was the fact that we were like, hey, we're going to hop on a plane here. She didn't have any support. Wow. So fast forward, it was really back and forth with Atoria. She was really tough. But I'm really, really glad that everything happened the way it did, because she actually invited Nathan and I to be in the delivery room with her.
Stop. When my goodness.
Yeah. And she gave birth on March 2nd, 2020. And so we were there, and we were there in the room, and he was there, and he was so tiny, and we held him. And so we actually last month, but we're already in May, March 2nd of this year, we were in California, and we celebrated his first birthday with him. His name is Kiari, and he's just the cutest kid you've ever seen. And Nathan and I have a very special bond with them. They actually lived with us last summer, and we got to spend a whole lot of time with them. And we don't have any kids of our own, So all of the Let Them Live babies have a really special place in our hearts. Kiari does as well, because we are just so involved from the very beginning with his little life and his mom, and we see them pretty frequently. So that's probably, that's like the perfect example of a mom that we help. You have a mom that is, doesn't want to have the abortion but schedules it anyways. And Atoria had a plan, when she was going to go through with the abortion, that she was going to jump off a parking garage and commit suicide.
Wow.
Because she felt like she couldn't live with herself. And to now, after just having that support, literally there's a life here, and it's totally unbelievable. I lost my mind when I held him at the hospital. How can you not, So.
Beautiful. That is so amazing, Emily. Wow. That gave me chills. So great. Well, how can people, if they want to get involved with your ministry, what are your greatest needs? Obviously financial, because you are helping all of these moms financially. Yeah. And so that's probably a huge part of your budget, is needing financial support. So I would encourage everyone that's listening to go give to Let Them Live. And then do you have any other ways that people can get involved?
Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, financial is the biggest one. If we have the money to tell a mom that we can support her and help her, that will help her to cancel her abortion and her, and give her baby life. And so literally a donation is directly linked to saving a little life from abortion, which is pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. But we definitely have a lot of other opportunities to volunteer and get involved. There's a whole bunch of them, but what I would recommend doing is sending us an email to info@letthemlive.org. And if you're interested in volunteering, we can, get you more involved. We have our social media, obviously, is Let Them Live, and our website is letthemlive.org. And there's tons of ways to get involved. We have people that do thank you card. Every person who donates gets a handwritten thank you card. And so we have volunteers that help write those thank you cards. I used to write them all myself. I remember those days when I had to write like 300 cards, and I do not miss those days. And we have volunteer pregnancy counselors. We've got volunteers that help us to write our copy for our website and stories about our moms, and help us with grants. And we had a volunteer who helped us with our bookkeeping. I mean, there's just so many different volunteer opportunities.
I'm sure you're probably like, what are you good at? Because that's what we need.
that's basically how it goes. I say, hey,
we'll
what are you good at?
Yeah.
Yep, we'll take anything. And we have an Adopt a Mom program as well. So if anybody listening is a member of a church, and the church as a whole wants to contribute, you can actually financially support a mom and adopt a mom, and help her through her pregnancy, and help us to help her get her finances in order and everything like that. So there's lots of different ways to get involved, but reach out to us. We're happy to talk, and thank you for everything in advance. So
yes, that's so awesome. Emily, thank you so much for being on with us today. And we just pray that everybody that's listening will get pointed to your organization. Go check you guys out and see how you can get involved. And also, what's your social media handles?
I don't really have of my own, but Let Them Live is at letthemlive.org for Instagram and Twitter, I believe. But if you just type in Let Them Live, it'll pop right up. It's a pink silhouette of a pregnant woman. So.
Okay, awesome. Well, we appreciate you, and we're cheering you on, and so thankful for everything that you're doing in the movement. You and your husband are amazing. If you're ever come to Texas, we'd love to meet you in person. Y'all sound awesome.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for having me, and definitely look forward to working with you in the future.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Emily. Bye.
How crazy is it that 73% of women considering abortion, it's because of finances? That is so crazy.
Yeah, that's high.
That's really high.
Yeah, but it makes sense. It makes sense that is one of the reasons why. And it's listed in the top 5 reasons why, but I would think it's probably, especially at 73%, is probably the number one reason why.
Yeah.
And so for Emily and her husband to start an organization specifically targeting this issue
Right.
is huge. And that it's not only like, here's some money, good luck.
Yeah.
But it's
like
like
we're going to walk this with you. We're going to equip you, help you.
train you.
Oh my goodness.
The Dave Ramsey stuff, the financial piece, all of that. I mean, that's so vital. And as we know in Embrace Grace and Embrace Life, a lot of moms just don't know. No one's ever really taught them how to, and they're in survival mode. So being able to set aside money for a flat tire or things that just naturally pop up is huge. And so being taught that.
Yeah.
And to know that they're not alone.
And when you're already living paycheck to paycheck,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have an unexpected pregnancy, well, what does that mean for doctor's appointments and prenatal care and diapers and wipes and all those other things? Like, the fear can creep up really quickly, and that fear is loud and real and everywhere. So this is removing a gigantic obstacle and a woman being able to feel confident in choosing life. And I love that when she was sharing the story about the mom that they worked with, her favorite story. And when the mom called and she was like, I just don't think I can do this, I'm scared. They were like, we're on our way. We are coming to you. And just proving love. Like, people want to feel secure, and they're not in it alone.
Shocked to see them in California.
This is crazy and amazing.
Yes, right? Totally awesome. And I would also just all of our listeners to follow them on Facebook, especially because I noticed that when they have really unique situations, they start Facebook fundraisers that are specifically for a certain mom or a certain situation that they need, a chunk of money to really help her be on her way. But it's great to follow and give through that because you really are giving to help save a life, which is totally amazing. You may not ever physically get to hold that baby, but to just know that you had a part in helping save a life is huge. And maybe someday you'll be able to meet this baby in heaven, which that's what we pray for, is that that all of our mamas that go through Embrace Grace, that they get saved, their babies get saved, and everybody comes to know Jesus, and all they get to feel the love, from organizations like Let Them Live, and that it's God's kindness that leads us to repentance. So we're just praying they're getting to feel what it feels like for to know how much Jesus loves them, and it's beautiful. And so please connect to what they're doing. Totally awesome. We're cheering them on here at Embrace Grace. And so if you want to get connected with them, please reach out, follow on all of their social media channels. Also, if you're still not sure where to get involved, go to helperbebrave.com. We have lots of ideas and different ways to find the ideas, either through buying a book, listening to a podcast, taking a quiz, launch a book club, and host it in your home. Just whatever is on your heart to do, you can figure it out with your friends together, which is kind of fun to find a place to get involved. And so I'm just so thankful for each one of you. Please share this podcast with your friends. Let everyone know about Help Her Be Brave show. Subscribe through YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and leave us a good review. Give us a thumbs up. All the things that you're supposed to do when you follow podcasts. Do all of that. That would be awesome. And we love you. We'll see you next time.